What's up guys? Today we are assembling the rest of the FA20 motor. For those of you just joining us, my Scion FRS spun a rod bearing at 91,000 miles, 91 to 93,000 miles on my way to work. It's been about a year. I'm building the motor. So far we have the short block fully assembled. We also got the heads back from the dealership with new upgraded valve springs. Now all we have to do is assemble everything. So I've loaded my garage with this dog and all the parts that we need because I am fairly confident that I can get this together today, hopefully. Otherwise I gotta carry some of this stuff back downstairs. And we got our fully assembled short block with the new rod, new crank, and all new bearings right here, new piston rings as well. And then over here, we have the oil pan section that needs to go back on and some old head gaskets. I gotta go through that and see what's in there. And then over here, we have our old crank, which I do need this gear off of. And whatever else we have in here, assembly lube, things like that. We have our heads that I got back from the dealership. These have new valve springs in them, but they need to be assembled still. And then over here, we have some gaskets. This was an OEM gasket kit, but none of the stuff is like actually labeled very well. But I do have head gaskets and stuff in here, and then some random O-rings and stuff right there. They are OEM. I also have OEM gaskets for the valve spring repair. Basically everything that you need to do for the valve spring repair. So I'm not entirely sure what all these are, but I probably should go through them. And I have this D&J timing chain kit. Hopefully it fits better than the D&J rings did, but I guess we'll see. And then I got all of my parts that go on the motor right here, as well as the intake manifold. And finally, I have the other stuff that came off the motor. I don't remember exactly what all this is, but here's like the old timing chains. Just in case I kept everything. I got all the nuts and bolts right there.
I am broken, words unspoken. I'm afraid I'm drowning underneath. I got lost in summer feelings that I can't seem to find my way to breathe. Need you by my side, I can't sleep at night. Let's get lost in time, leave it all behind. Life can get so rough, hope that I'm enough. Let me be the one for you.
Alright, so I got this thing clean. It was so incredibly hard to clean the RTV out of these spots right here. What I ended up using was this plastic Rolock disc. This is a 3M 120 grit Rolock disc. This is approved by Subaru for use on this. So I used this in a combination with a razor blade and green scrubby and carb cleaner. The green scrubby is technically not approved, so just make sure that you blow everything out and clean out the part once you're done, if that's what you're using. So now we're gonna go ahead and put RTV on this and place it on the bottom of the block there.
I'm trying not to let go of my pride, but every time you come back, it's like falling down these lies again. This feeling that I have deep down inside, I just wanna be the one you need. And now I need you by my side, I can't sleep.
I keep pausing and not remembering to record, so here we have the bottom of the block on now. Everything is torqued using a torque wrench. So those are all good to go. I did have to take off the thermostat housing to get to this one here, which I don't really remember. Also, one of these bolts was very bent. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, either in storage or I have no clue. But I hammered it straight and then put it back in. So That's good. This probably needs to come off to see if I need to replace an O-ring. However, these O-rings are supposed to be replaced and the kit did not have any. These are the old ones. So I'm just going to reuse them. They seem okay and they're within the oil pan. So I'm thinking that it probably doesn't matter if they leak a little bit. I don't know. They seem like they're fine though. So we're going to go ahead and work on this oil pan now and start scraping the gasket off. Okay, so I pulled this out, cleaned it out really good, checked the O-ring. The O-ring seems okay. I didn't get a replacement for anything inside of this oil pan, so when we were using that O-ring, I placed these back in here. This is fully cleaned off. I did use the wheel, which took the paint off too, but otherwise this is going to take me forever. So I'm perfectly fine with this, especially because this is an easily replaceable part. So, I mean, if it leaks, it's not catastrophic, and I'll know about it and I can replace it. So I'm not worried about it. So we're going to go ahead and install it next. So I got the, I think they call this the oil pan sub-assembly, this bottom part down here, or maybe this is, maybe both of them are considered the oil pan, I don't know. But I got both pieces bolted on now, this little tiny oil pan right here. Everything's torqued down. I threw these two extra bolts in because I don't remember where they go, and there were extra bolts that looked like they belonged in the oil pan, but I have all the bolts in there, so I'm gonna watch my video on where I took this off to figure out where those extra ones go. But it's starting to look more like an engine, at least the size of one. We still got the heads right there that need to bolt onto the sides, and those need to be cleaned still. So it's going to be a little bit of time still. But I'm gonna call it for tonight, and we'll pick back up on this later. What's up, guys? It's another day, and I need to get these heads cleaned up and installed on the engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. So I'm going to go ahead and install these pieces onto the crank from the old crankshaft, and then we're going to put the head, install the head right here. Alright guys, it is a new day and I am going to finish this engine today, I swear. I'm so done with it, I just want the car to run again. So, we have this head here on the ground. I need to flip that over, clean off the head gasket surface, take it apart, clean all the RTV off, and then we can go ahead and put that head on. We still have to do the timing cover. I have to take apart the oil pump inside there and all the oil galleys. Make sure there's no metal shavings in there. If there's no metal shavings in there, I'm gonna feel pretty good. about these timing gears because I know they contain oil, and I don't really want to disassemble them to clean out any metal pieces. The car is going to get an oil change pretty much right after it starts, like within 100 miles. So that should flush out any remaining metal. There will also be new metal as the rings break in to the cylinder walls. It's normal with any engine build. So yeah, if I take apart the timing cover and there's no like metal chunks in there, that's obviously a really good sign. That means there's probably no metal chunks throughout the rest of the motor. There was just a little bit in the oil pan. That's all cleaned out now, obviously. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this head torn down and cleaned up.
This feeling that I have deep down inside, I just wanna be the one you need. And now I need you by my side. I can't sleep at night. Let's get lost in time, leave it all behind. I can't get enough of that. I'm enough. Let me be the one for you.
Alright guys, this motor is starting to look pretty complete. Got both heads on completely now. The next step is to go ahead and install the spark plugs. I got some brand new spark plugs from Toyota. Which, by the way, if you're rebuilding one of these, get them from Toyota, not Subaru. It's a little bit cheaper. They're a couple bucks cheaper per plug. And this is what they look like in the packaging. 4 of them, obviously. They are pretty long, the threads on the end, and specific to this engine, I couldn't really find anything good aftermarket, so I just bought OEM ones. Should be gapped from the factory, so these are good to go. I'm just going to go ahead and install them. Well, I forgot to hit record, but I got 2 of the old spark plugs out. There's one of the old ones. They actually look pretty decent, but I got 2 new spark plugs in there. They just need to be torqued. Alright, since I don't want to use air tools too late, and this is the last thing that I have to clean with air tools, I'm going to go ahead and clean the timing cover before I put the timing chain on. And I do also have to open up all these oil passageways in here and the oil pump, and just make sure there's no actual metal debris in there. I do also have to clean out the inside because I do have some plaster ceiling that's falling down in my garage, and a few pieces of plaster fell into here, so I'm going to spray this whole thing out with brake cleaner and make sure everything's really clean.
Missing little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. 2 a.m. wide awake, talking like we had the whole night. And I don't know if I said this right. No, I don't know how the days gone by. Missing little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. Every now and again, I trace my steps back to then. Oh, I want that feeling. It's all that I needed to move on, to feel it. It's all that I needed.
Okay, so we got this thing pretty much as clean as I can. There's like it looks dirty in here, but it's just like a really rough surface that I can't clean. But other than that, it's pretty good. I got all the RTV cleaned up around here. I need to wipe it down with a rag. It looks like there's like a little tiny bit of RTV. It's hard to get rid of all of it though. Took off the oil pump cover right here and these oil passageway covers, and there was not a single speck of metal in there, which is really cool, but I cleaned it all out anyway. So now all we got to do is put the timing chain on, and then we can put that cover on. So here is what the D&J timing kit looks like. It has these sprockets, which don't necessarily seem like they'll fit. They're definitely not this piece. So maybe this comes apart and this gets installed in its place. I don't think so though. So I don't really know what these are for. Maybe for a different engine. It does have this. This appears to be correct, comparing it to that. So it's nice that it does have that. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to just use the one that was on there because I don't really see how that could go bad, and I already have it installed. But that being said, we got another one of those sprockets too. We got the chains right here, and they are colored just like the OEM one. And then we got these guides, which I'm going to use, and then these adjusters are brand new, which is pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and use those as well. If anything doesn't fit, then we'll go ahead and just put the original one back on, but I would rather use the new chain.
Searching for the moments I'm a little less empty inside. Few late nights 'cause nobody seems to make the time. And I don't know how to do this right. No, I don't know how the years gone by. Searching for the moments I'm a little less 25. Every now and again, I trace my steps back to then. Oh, I want that.
Okay, timing chains are installed. As you can see, all of our marks are lined up. So we got our little timing mark right there on a little half moon on the chain thing. That's lined up with the yellow chains. And then over here, we have our pink chain there, pink chain right here where this line is. And then over here, we got a similar thing, pink chain there, and a pink chain there. So, well, actually, I think those are orange and yellow on this kit. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate that over, and then we're gonna go put this timing cover on.
I need it to move on, to feel it. It's all that I need It's all that I need it. I want that, feel it. It's all that I need it to move on, to feel it. It's all that I need it.
Alright, I unloaded the videos off of my phone again. And I think that this motor is going to be pretty quick to knock out the rest of the way. It's like 2 in the morning right now almost. But I just want to get this thing finished. So, I got my box of stuff. I got my intake manifold and my wiring harness. I'm just going to go ahead and knock this thing out. The next step is to install this new seal right here. This is the crankshaft or front main seal. I got one right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on the inside and outside, pull this seal out, and hammer this one backwards onto this one to get it in.
To move on, to feel it. It's all that I needed. How the years go.
Okay, I've installed the crank pulley and the water pump pulley, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the top here and start installing the coolant stuff on top. At this point, I'm as far as the service manual will get you. So the rest I have to do by using my own teardown video as a reference. So I know that I need to install the coil packs first. I mean, I guess I don't need to, but that's the order that I did it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in and get There's also a coolant pipe that needs to go on the other side. Get those installed. And then the next thing is the fuel rail.
Go ahead.
Here we are, the completed engine, just putting on the final piece right here. Done. And that's going to be the end of this video. Stay tuned for the next one where we actually take this engine and put it back in the car, see if it actually works and starts like we need it to. To make sure you're prepared for that, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click the bell. Give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind, and thank you all for watching. Peace out.